Course, still rise and shine, and as we said before that short breather, we'll be talking about the Ibom Science Park project. Now, we'd like to bring on our guest. Good morning, Engineer Iboro, to welcome to Rise and Shine this beautiful Friday morning.
Good morning to you. How are you doing, my brother?
Very well, thank you. And of course, Suyai is also here, and together we'll be firing on all cylinders because this is one project that Akwa Ibom people can't wait to see the end of it and what it will bring for our economy.
Good morning, Engineer. Also, good to have you on the show.
Thank you so much, madam. Good morning.
Okay, so we start with the fact that Afri-Asia Transatlantic Services Limited, which is an indigenous project development and consultancy company based in Nigeria, recently signed some MOU with the association talking about compassing various areas of development cooperation, specifically focusing on a project in Akwa Ibom State under the chairmanship of a one-time former governor of the state, talking about His Excellency Architect Obong Victor Ota. And the focus of that is set to bring in the projected 250 million US dollars foreign direct investment, which is aimed at repositioning Akwa Ibom State as a technology and investment hub in West Africa. You have been one of the strong advocate for Ibom Science Park project, and I'm sure that this MOU is something that you're well aware of. We'd like to pick your mind on what this means for the Science Park project.
Yes, even more important than the money is the technical cooperation, because in this area of science parks, it's more about research and development in very high tech-enabled sectors. So we are very happy that we've been able to bring together different partners from across the world in the technical areas, financial areas, and all other areas to help us take this project off the ground from where it is. I don't think I have to tell the story again about where the project is at the moment after 20 years. But I believe that the reason for this could have been because the different components that make up this project has not been able to come together. Different MOUs have been signed by Akwa Ibom State government to date, but nothing has really happened on ground. And this is why myself and the former governor of the state came together last year to see how we could make things happen alongside a lot of other very competent people. We are very happy where we are at the moment. We are also engaging very rigorously with the state government to make sure we get through the phase of partnership and move forward finally to implementation, project implementation. And so I guess the article that you read, I sent to you, came on the back of the BRICS Association meeting that is ending today actually, where the Association of Science Parks have been inaugurated under BRICS, and we have been able to sign an MOU for technical and all other corporations. But we also have other financial partners across the world in America, in different places, that will be working together to make this come to pass. For a while back, we have been engaging with the Akwa Ibom State Investment Corporation through the CEO and the chairman, Chief Demeko Owodion, and he's been very pivotal in making sure that we get all the support we need from the government. So by God's grace, we should be seeing a lot happening on the ground, and this time around it wouldn't be a push and start situation, but a proper implementation of the project plan as put together by the former governor of Long.
So what I'd like for us to do is just, observe a little pushback. What is the Ibom Science Park idea about? Because, for people watching us from all over the nation this morning, they might not have an understanding of what the initiative is about. Why has it been left untouched in the last 20 years? And why is there now a push to make sure that there is a rebirth and a continuance of that particular project? So take us through it. Tell us the story, the back-end story of Ibom Science Park.
So the Ibom Science Park was supposed to be a replica of what is very popular today, known as Silicon Valley in America. And basically, it's an ecosystem that supports tech businesses to sprout, whether it's in the area of AI, edutech, fintech, health tech, medtech. But basically, it helps young people to build businesses, to get support, get access to global markets, to products and services that are tech-enabled, where they can not only own their businesses and make it grow, whether it's in being incubated businesses, they call it business, the hubs like what we have in Akwa Ibom State that are called incubators, we have accelerators, or being brought to become unicorns. We have about 7 unicorns today in Nigeria. But anyway, so we want to support our young people in the tech sector with an ecosystem that would make them start from 0 to 100 to hero. And this would create a lot of jobs, provide services to local problems, provide solutions to local problems in the different areas of tech, but also provide problems that are local and international. That means we'll be able to earn in foreign currencies, for example, when we export these products and services, and we'll also be able to scale our businesses and our young people in different areas of tech. And when you look at the growth and the support that examples like the Silicon Valley or the Science Park in Taiwan, the support in terms of the revenue they generate to support the state and the country government, or the job employment that it offers to the people of the country, it's always in hundreds of millions. Our projection is to create about 100,000 jobs directly and more than 1 million jobs indirectly, and not just within the Akwa Ibom State, but in Nigeria and indeed across West Africa. So a science park basically is crystallizes development and research in the areas of science and technology, and it's like a university that is a business. So young people that are out of school, that are in different areas of tech, or big global companies like Apple, Facebook, for example, can come around and set up their data centers. Or manufacturing companies like BYD, which we are talking to currently, different electric car companies can also come and set up shop. And this would help, generally increase the GDP of the state, the revenue of the state, and also position the state as a destination of investment. And also, remember when you read the article, you'll see we are also in the process of finalizing our World Trade Center license. We are about to make Uyo a World Trade Center capital, alongside what we have in Abuja and in Lagos. So it's very interesting what this package is bringing to Akwa Ibom State, and this is what makes it also very difficult to start. Our brother there read $250 million, that's probably the GDP of Akwa Ibom State. And what does this, how do you get this kind of money? It needs very serious planning and very serious networks. So most of the times, companies come with great intentions, but then are unable to be able to, put together the financial muscle to make this project happen. But beyond that also, there needs to be a comprehensive government support behind the project, not monetarily, but in other ways, whether it's in tax breaks or in providing infrastructure for the project to be able to scale, and the different other ways. So this is why we are engaging rigorously with the government to see how we can support each other to make this happen. So really, one of the biggest things that can happen, which Obama had mentioned numerously in many of his interviews, is that unfortunately he was unable to complete the project because of the financial implications of the project. So hopefully this time around, not hopefully, surely this time around, we'll be able to get this project off the ground, create job opportunities for our people, and open up international markets for trade and investment.
So we also need to look into the readiness of the Akwa Ibom community for an initiative such as this, because it's been lying fallow in our state for 20 years. The Umwano-led administration is big on human capital development. When you bring an initiative rather such as this, we should have our people primarily in the employ. So beyond working on the infrastructure to restart it and all of that, let's talk about human development around this particular project. How many, youths and people in Akwa Ibom do we have ready for, the Ibom Science Park?
Well, we have already in Akwa Ibom State many hubs, many tech hubs operating, and many businesses, many tech-related businesses in Akwa Ibom that are working. That's too numerous for me to mention, and I'm sure you know about this. But beyond that, we also have a population that is very tech savvy. In fact, when you look at the social media, for example, it's more consumed in Akwa Ibom State than it is in Lagos, even when Lagos has a population of 23 million and Akwa Ibom is just 6 million. And when you have this kind of very engaged and very knowledgeable workforce, they provide the opportunity in terms of the workforce opportunity. They provide the workforce for big.
Okay, I think we're having some network interference there. Well, a lot of things that Engineer Barotu so far has stated about the science park, one of such being the fact that, being able to bring it to bear would mean a lot more for Akwa Ibom State in terms of GDP, increasing the GDP of the state, in terms of also opening up opportunities for young people. If you look at Akwa Ibom State now, you see a lot of young people are into tech. They're into, creating very beautiful products within the tech space. And so having a science park will be a great incubation center. And of course, the different opportunities the science parks will bring to bear would also help to nurture a lot more creative minds from the tech space. And of course, the more people we have in the tech space, which of course everybody's now saying is the next monk cow for generating of revenue for individuals, and of course for government, the better it would be for us. And it also, even reposition the coming generation, because when these, facilities are here, we're not going to have those limitations of dreaming and not seeing where you can actually get into to get the needed help, the needed guidance, that you need. And like Engineer Barotu said, this is not just going to be a business center, it's also going to be a learning ground, where people can actually get in and get different skill sets.
I think my teals in even having this conversation with Engineer too will be the research quality, the depth of research opportunities that having a science park in Akwa Ibom State will afford the people of Nigeria, afford the people of Akwa Ibom State. Because if we are moving in terms of moving up with the world in terms of technology, Africa is way behind in the conversation. And apart from having willing people who are interested in tech, in the climb, would also have to invest heavily in research and further education, for people that have already found an interest in that area. And the moribund facility of the science park, as it were, was built with the future in mind. So the developments now should make sure that everything is up to date, especially futuristic. Now we can't do something that will need to be upgraded in another 10-15 years. We need to have 50-100 years in mind whilst we are working to rebirth this really big dream. And this is just one of the several other dreams that we had that we've not followed through. One of my questions that I'd like to talk to Engineer Barotu would be, what has been the snag in the wheel? And how much better is the wheel running now? Is the state government willing to partner with the re-engineering of the Ibom Science Park and these donor partners that are coming in to work with the agencies? What is going to be the stake of everybody involved? But this is really a really, really lofty re-engineering of a dream. 20 years is a long time for it to have been left undone. Now let's look at the losses that we have accrued in the last 20 years. Having that facility just sit fallow, how much more money have we lost? Our guest was talking about the fact that one of the primary reasons which has been put forward for not continuing with that facility was the financial encumbrance. But let us look at administrations that have come on board after Obong Victor Atta was governor. He was the brain behind the Ibom Science Park. Several administrations later, 2 administrations later of 16 years, have worked in this state, and some of the things that he fought for, which includes, financial resources, the wealth of the state came in. Why didn't we see successive administration pumped in a quarter of these resources to make sure that the Ibom Science Park is, up and running, especially because it is also a hub that will come back to generate income for the state. So why was it abandoned for this long? That's a really big question. Now, in going to regenerate that, you have to still look back into the durability of the structure 20 years down the line. We have to fix all of that before we can even go, forward in the conversation. So the matter of continuance in government becomes a serious issue, and I think that maybe that's one of the things I appreciate about Governor Pastor Moeno. In this first leg, he's not attempting to start any legacy, project. He's talking about spending about 208 billion to finish up projects that he came and met, and some other smaller projects that have been started. But in attempting to have a legacy project, we abandoned better legacy projects that were engineered for the people and try to do things that will have a name on it. So it's a big lacuna that the agency is trying to fix.
Well, it's indeed one, but I guess it's joined back. Good to have you join us back, Engineer Iboro too.
My brother, this is the problem we are trying to solve. Having our own homegrown technology that can help us communicate without having these disruptions happening every now.
Absolutely.
So hopefully in the future, the Science Park will provide services, different communication services, apps, and all the rest of them that we can talk without stress.
Definitely. We will get to that place. But let's calm down.
Yeah.
I was just talking about, successive administration. We'd like to hear. I know that in the article that you shared, there are a lot of, conversations with the Akwa Ibom state government, but the people will want to know.
Right.
Successive administrations have abandoned the project, and now we're talking about Governor Umoeno's administration. What is the body language? What is the commitment level of the government at this moment? Because we'll need all of that for us to be able to get this project up for the people.
Well, every government that comes in, they have their own agenda. So maybe this does not fit into the present government's agenda, or maybe they have a plan for maybe subsequent years, much later down the line. I really don't know what it is. But things are taking this project, for example, it's rather very slower than we would have thought. But there is a lot of there are a lot of promising spots here and there. And like I said, my chairman has a very good relationship with the governor, and I'm hoping to see how we could exploit that to the benefit of Akwa Ibom people. I think the governor is trying very well in several areas, and there are other areas he could do better. But we know how it is with government. One person cannot solve all the problems. In the area of payment of salaries, pensions, and gratuity, I'm very happy about what the governor has done. I think he's taking care of, when people work, they have to be paid. And I understand that the political class is complaining a lot that the governor is not throwing money around. I really like what he's doing in that area as well, because the government is not a place where people go to settle themselves. But there's still a lot of work to be done in many other areas, whether it's in education, healthcare, housing, agriculture, for example. It's good to share food around, but I think we should move away from subsistence farming to cash cropping. But things are happening. It's better than before. There's relative security. When you look at the way the road networks, there's a lot of investment in that area, and there's a bit more transparency now than how it was before. When you compare this government to the last government, for example. Probably maybe the governor needs new hands to, his system, whether it's the ESCO or his people working with him, they've been around for a while. Maybe things need to be, turned around a bit, or inject a bit more new blood. There's a lot that can be done and should be done. And if I take this project, for example, I don't think this is a project that should be hanging around for the past 6 months. We've been speaking with the government from the beginning of this year, for example, engaging them on a daily basis on this project. Our investors are beginning to show signs of weariness, and I've expressed this to our chairman, who has also expressed it to the government. But then again, this is a big project. It's not something that the government can just jump in. But these are all excuses I can give at the moment. But we are on standby here. In fact, just today, one of our partners have gone to America we've been invited. The governor himself was also invited by the World Trade Center Association to come in and meet with the 363 World Trade Center presidents across the world who have their annual meetings in New York. It's starting on Monday for 4 days. And we've been given an express invitation where the governor was supposed to meet with the United Nations Secretary General and with the mayor of New York. And this was expressly sent by the president of the World Trade Center Association to the government. I don't think there's a delegation from the government at this moment. Our chairman will be attending, and these are the kind of gains we want to bring to the state, because if we are happy to have a center like the World Trade Center where investment and investors have a channel of getting into the state instead of the state traveling across the world to look for investors, it would be fantastic. Because with the World Trade Center, you are now bringing the mountain to Mohammed instead of the Mohammed going to the mountain. So these are cost-cutting area strategies long-term, where Akwa Ibom will be positioned as an investment hub, not just in Nigeria, but across the West African region. Remember, there are just about 11 World Trade Centers in Africa, 2 in Nigeria, 1 in Lagos, 1 in Abuja. The one in Uyo would make the South now, the Southwest have one to service most of the businesses across the Southeast. So these are great plans that we hope that we can work with the government to bring about for the interest and the benefit of Akwa Ibom State and Akwa Ibom.
So, but with this conversation, just to wrap up this morning, it looks like we still have a snag in the wheel, because that was my concern about the last 16 to 20 years. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm talking about the fact that it looks like, with what you have just shared, there's a slow pace on the part of government. What do you think the problem is? Apart from saying, yes, it's a big project and the government might not just want to jump into it, doesn't the state government see the bigger picture and the bigger vision of having the Ibom Science Park up and running? I mean, it has, it's a multi-billion-dollar invention that is sitting down there, because the world is moving tech-ward. Imagine having a hub as that's, functional in Akwa Ibom, like you said, for the South and the Southwest.
I know, but fortunately or unfortunately, I have been a politician. I've run for office in the state, and I've come to realize that political decisions and economic decisions are 2 different decisions. So I don't think it's done from an economic sense. We need to prove a point or make the government see the viability of the project. I tend to think that it's probably a political decision on the pace of the project, because people think different things, and unfortunately, we live in a real world, and we have to be realistic with our expectations and our aspirations. But my hope is that the governor will be able to leap beyond these kinds of narrative or reasoning or thinking. And again, this is just my observation. And then bring about a more comprehensive form of leadership. He said it himself when he got into office, that he's going to look beyond political affiliations, which fortunately for me, I don't have. I mean, I am now a proper businessman, but it's not what I say I am, it's how people perceive me to be, or my businesses, or my engagements, or my partners to be. We have brought about very big companies from across the world, and these are known companies. I'm talking about people sitting on boards of Google, Amazon, and the rest of them. I'm talking about people that have the funding to make things happen, and have made it happen globally. They are not just bringing, this is a kind of mezzanine investment where they're taking equity while also bringing in a loan component to this. So we are very well positioned on this project, and I hope that the government would have the spine to come around and make it happen finally. I am very positive that this project, the time has come, and most of the times when the time has come for things, push or pull of different people ultimately not stop the project from coming about. So by God's grace, we will see great things happening in Akwa Ibom State soon enough.
Okay, thank you so much, Engineer. I love the fact that you are speaking from a positive point of view and a lot of hope and a lot of expectations, and we expect that hope will show forth, especially when we look at the indication so far given by Governor Omoyno so far and his commitment to finishing up with projects of previous administration, which of course the Science Park project is part of that long list of uncompleted projects. But thank you so much for taking out the time to speak with us and Akwa Ibom people and Nigerians, and of course the West Coast this morning. We truly appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Enjoy the rest of your weekend.